start talking or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we start off by you just introducing yourself.
Gotcha. I'm Johnny Luckau. I'm one of the brothers on Paintball Fit, and yeah, this is it.
This is it. Uh, what led to the creation of Paintball Fit?
It's the field of the team. Two different stories.
The team.
So the team originally, Brody and I had played together. We kind of got Colt and Trenton involved in playing, and we actually played under a team called Apex that we didn't really start. Is a lot of what is known as the BK Omen guys now, and then they actually got us back into paintball. And but the actual Paintball Fit program a little bit stemmed from Greg helping us out and getting us to play national tournaments, because at the time we hadn't played any national tournaments yet, just local AXBL at the time, USXBL. And Greg wanted to really get more of the local town around here to go try to showcase themselves at a national level. So he convinced us to try to join up with a team called DSO at the time and try to take some of their leadership, because there are some older players that he knew, and kind of show us the ropes a little bit and kind of piece that thing together. And at the time, I actually played with the ACD2 squad. And then it was Colt and Trenton and Brody. And they played with Bart and Derek and James from DSO. And they went out, and that was the D4 season team. And just really started shitting on people. It was awesome. And in that season, Colt actually didn't play a whole lot of spins. He played a lot of local paintball, but like at the NXL events, he didn't play the lion's share of the points, because him and Bart played a similar like position. But he was able to learn a lot from him, and him not playing gave him a lot of the hunger to get better and lose a lot of weight. Because at the time, he was pushing like almost 400 pounds. It was really close, but that really lit the fire under his ass, and he's the person he is today because of that season and that whole situation.
What would you say has been your favorite season to date for you with Paintball Fit?
The favorite season? That's a good one. The D3 season will always be probably one of the favorite ones, because that's at the end of the D4 season. There's a hard separation between kind of how the team came about. And so kind of Greg really stepped away. The DSO guys all kind of stepped away. And then I came back to it. And the D3 one was where, hey, we're doing this ourselves, and let's go at it and how we want to do it. And then we went and won more tournaments the next year in D3 as our own selves, and that was nice. But honestly, like that's like one of the like stakehold seasons. But my favorite one was this one. It was a very hard year for a lot of reasons, a lot of stuff going on, and it didn't end with the W, but very pleased with how everything went. And I think because of how this year went is why we're going to be more successful going forward. Like, just, I'm excited about the future.
How do you feel about the new rules of only 1 week of prep going into each event?
I'm cool with it. I mean, as long as everything stays the same and it's the same rules throughout the season, we're good. Just let us know the rules, and we'll figure out a way to abuse it and win.
Spoken like every paintball. Figure out a way to abuse it. Stay within the gray.
Yeah, just tell me the rules, and then we're good.
Do you think there's an issue in paintball where rules don't stay consistent through the whole season?
I mean, that's just sports. Everything's constantly evolving, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, I know a lot of people complain about the double points and a lot of other stuff, but even with last season, honestly, Tom really wanted whoever won Cup to get the pro spot, and you know, everything came down to a vote, and things changed, and at the end of the day, that's how it worked out anyways. So it it really didn't matter. But Yeah, and even going into the double point shit, like double points make sense for Cup, but the only thing I would change, if anything, would be not dropping an event.
So all your events count, and cups worth double
Yeah,
events.
Cup's cool. It should be double. It does mean more, but I think all your events count, and especially with like our race, and you look at the D4 and the D3, and like the dropping of the events is way worse than not giving double for that. So like a lot of everyone who was in the lead ended up losing because of a dropped event. But people want to pin it on the double points. Like you can't perform a cup, you can't perform a cup. Like that's you fucking up. But getting rid of one low event doesn't make sense, especially for all the top teams who play all of them anyways. Like even with the double points, like I'm pretty sure you look at all of our scores, like us, Blast, FSU, and a lot of the other top ranked teams, right? Like everyone played every event. We were all fucking there. So you just, when you look at the average, like that's obviously the best team. But that's what it is.
What was y'all's worst event, like finish wise?
Our worst event, I want to say we got 7th in Philly. That one was rough. I got COVID right before. Colt had COVID during. That was a weird one where the layout wasn't the same when we got there. Not because they set it up wrong, but just how the ground was. There was just like really big mounds, and it made it to where basically I wanted to say the home couldn't see the D side anymore. So like everything you practiced in that sense completely changed. And with our personnel and our game plan, we didn't do a good enough job adjusting and changing our game plan to how the actual field was. Instead, we kind of just stuck with what we were doing anyways. And I think if I would go back, that's all I would try to change. And I think if we did a better job adjusting to just like, well, this is how we're going to play the layout now, we win that event. But hindsight's 2020.
So, with losing the series by 1 point, Notorious takes it at the end of 2022. 2023, you come in, and the race starts again. Do you think it's the same runners, or do you think the competition is going to be different this year? I mean,
I'm sure it'll be different. New blood always does well, for the most part, just because people don't know a lot about them. But honestly, we don't really care about the other teams. It's just maintaining ourselves. Like, I don't feel like anyone beat us. Even Cup, the only reason we really lost is we didn't have the full roster. Like everyone, the other teams played fucking great, but like, it is what it is. You just add one piece. You add Trenton back in the mix. I don't even think any of our matches are close. It's that I'm even losing Cup. I am super super pumped about our team and how well everyone did without having some key members. So like, there's so much optimism able to come back and just seeing how everyone was able to pull together and make all this happen, even being in a shitty situation like that. Like it's just super blessed, especially knowing we're going to get that killer back and everyone's focusing on their health, and we're gonna actually work hard this season. The worst thing that happened to us last year was winning that first event. We came into the season very pumped, very excited about playing, and even with that, still like a little overweight and out of shape, and just like, you know what, whatever happens this first Florida event, let's really get on our grind and let's start like working hard. And then we won, and that was the worst thing for us. Like it made everyone very complacent, just like, oh yeah, we're that much better than everyone here. This season's gonna be a cakewalk. And you know, you look at it like everyone. I mean, fucking hey, Colt was about 50 pounds heavier this semi-pro year than he was the AC pro year, and it's a big fucking deal. He obviously fucking moves with it anyways because he's very athletic for his size. But that's going to be the difference. It's like we're actually going to work hard this year. We're not going to be complacent. We're not going to let the wins get to our head, and things are just good. Things are much better outside of the field with the team, the family, just a lot less outside stressors and unknowns. Just, I don't know. Things are just nice.
What's the off season been like? People just been healing up, practicing a lot. Crazy fields you had.
We haven't been able to practice a lot. Colt's been able to play a lot. Like the guys who can practice a lot have been playing. A lot more playing than practice, I should say. But me, Trenton, Brody, not at all. Just trying to get over the tears, get our bodies right. And our first, us three, our first times playing again was this last Saturday at McX. And definitely feeling it. But yeah, it was a good off season. A lot more vacation and hanging out than we're used to, but it was needed.
Sometimes that can be more recharging.
Yeah.
So is everybody expected to be healthy by event 1 in March?
Absolutely.
So you have a full roster return?
Yeah, full roster. The only player who won't be with us the first event will be Chuck Latham, not because of health, but just he has a new kid, and he really wants to focus on that time, being there for the first steps and all that, which is the best excuse possible. So once he gets his fill and he gets that part of his life situated, then he'll be back full bore.
If you could see anything change in Excel, what would it be? I mean, with a few minutes ago with Trent, we kind of discussed, letting lower divisionals be able to actually walk away with money in their pocket. And we're not talking about just from the event. We're talking about like travel costs, hotels, like the.
Yeah.
I mean.
So that does make sense, right? Where everyone playing needs to be able to make some money when they win, but I do think the best thing for paintball is that all the pros make money. So it would actually make more, and it's obviously counterintuitive to because we're playing semi-pro and we just play at all the divisions. But what actually might make more sense is that if you're not pro, you're amateur, you're not making money. But if we funnel all that prize money to the pros, and that all the pro teams at least have a small portion of that as not winnings, but as guaranteed money, that'll at least give us a starting point. And now all these pro players are they already have their shit covered for the most part. But each team gets a stipend, like at least each event or each season. And it's not going to be very much, but at least now it feels like it's legit pro and we can actually build on it from there. But if we don't start from somewhere, too many guys get to the top, or once they realize that there's not as much money to go around to be made in it, people are going to fizzle out because you always have your parents, you have the wives, and everyone kind of like, why do you do this? Or what's in it for my kid to be able to put this much into it? You want there to be that real light at the end of the tunnel, not just for a few players, but for a vast majority. And I think that's the answer. I think really taking care of the legit pro players, it's easier for me to sell it to a parent. I'm like, hey, your kid has talent. He should do this over baseball. But baseball players make this much money. But I'm like, okay, well, you have a better chance at him making, it at pro. But there needs to be a better outlet for that. And unfortunately, it's going to sacrifice the divisionals, which isn't going to be a popular thing for most players. But if the top guys aren't making it, you're not going to make it. Is what it is. That's what's so cool about Ollie and Alex being able to make all their money off their likeness and with their company. Because if they're the greatest to ever do it, like they're the Michael Jordans of paintball, and they're not able to be successful off of paintball, fucking nobody's going to be able to do that. And it's cool. They deserve it.
I'm curious about what was so according to your brother, you were pretty much the mastermind behind Hydra, the knee pad, and started doing the leg work. What drove you to say, I'm going to make arguably the best knee pad in paintball?
So basically, I spent a lot of time doing Olympic weightlifting when I was younger, and we'd wear these knee sleeves, and so I would get these Ray-Ban knee sleeves, and for paintball, when I'd use normal knee pads, they'd get caught up in the pants, so you'd be trying to bring your knee over, to slide on your hip. But if the knee pads were too bulky, they'd get caught in your pants. Then your knee would just strike the ground, and then there would go your MCL. So then I started just wearing my compression sleeves, so it'd be a smoother transition in the pants and a lot more free. But you still need a little bit more padding. So our dad's a cobbler, so I would give him my knee pad or my knee sleeves at the time, and I'm like, hey, can you stitch like this on there? So then he would hand make me my personal knee pads that I would want. So it'd be the knee sleeve, and then I would cut up another knee sleeve and have him stitch those on there to kind of just add a little bit extra padding. So then that's what I personally would wear. And then when people would come and they'd ask us, what products to get, like, what do you use? I'm like, well, you can't exactly get what I use because it's a kind of a one-off thing. But then I would sell people on getting these sleeves, and that's the best knee pad you can get. You don't need that extra padding, blah, blah, blah. And then over time, making them for me, making them for Colt, because we're bigger guys, we need the support more than just big, bulky padding, which was a lot of the knee pads at the time. We decided, let's just make it ourselves. So originally, our dad, JD, was making every single pad by himself there at the shoe repair. And, after a while, it got a lot. So then we had to start looking out for other manufacturers that could just have the manpower to put them together. And here we are.
So
it came from necessity of my own. This is what I need out of a knee pad. Just my own personal injuries.
But going back to your father, you said he's a cobbler. That's kind of a dying, I don't want to say dying, but it's a more limited
skill set. Yeah.
It's like blacksmithing almost. Right?
Yeah.
But for shoes, I don't know if you maybe want to explain to people like what he does. What is a cobbler?
So a cobbler, they're shoe repairmen. So what our father and our mother do, JD and Sarah, they basically take cowboy boots and very nice women's shoes, men's shoes, and they resole them, get them all done up. So when you have like that nice pair of shoes that like, this is my favorite pair, you spend $500 on it. You don't want to just go have to break in a new pair. It's much cheaper to just repair them. And if you're conscious about the environment and everything, the number one waste out there is clothing. So if you want to save the environment, get your shit repaired.
The only reason I know it there is my growing up in Texas, my favorite pair of shoes were a pair of double H square nose boots.
Yeah.
And I wore them at the end of high school through my whole military career. Probably got 12 years out of them until finally I'd walked the hills uneven, chipped the wood hill, and that's how I figured out. I was like, oh, I can, because I don't want to.
And you can just keep them going.
You can't break in, redo 12 years of break in. Those things were
we even have people come in and they're like, they weigh their same size as their great grandfather, and it's the same pair of boots that they just has been passed down through generations. They just keep having them repaired, and it's cool. There's a lot of sentimental value for a lot of people and stuff like that. And others, it's just like very expensive shoes, and they just don't want to spend that kind of money again, and they just want to keep it going, which makes total sense.
So the Hydra knee pad's not some volleyball knee pad you found off Amazon?
No, it's nothing like a volleyball knee pad at all. So volleyball knee pads, it's funny when people say that, like, well, you obviously never worn a volleyball knee pad or played volleyball. They're more knit, and they're very thin. This is that compared to a weightlifting sleeve. So the compression of a weightlifting sleeve, and then with the padding on it. That's what it is. And significantly cheaper. So like the knee sleeves that I was getting at the time were like $60 per one sleeve. So you just get one at a time, and you'd have to get them from the UK. So I'd have to order these motherfuckers from the UK and have them here, and then have my dad add the extra stuff on there. So yeah, it's not a volleyball knee pad whatsoever. And volleyball knee pads are like half the size. They're only a couple inches, and they just barely, they even ride below the patella. Like, it's just a funny comparison because they're not even remotely the same at all.
But I don't think.
I don't think these guys have been to a fucking volleyball game or even dated a volleyball player to even say that. Like, it's just funny, right? Like, if you go to a volleyball game, you can obviously that's not the same fucking shit. Like,
I don't think anyone really. Maybe, hopefully, they didn't know until this story that JD was actually sewing the first iterations of them.
Oh, he's the man. So he does a lot of cool stuff like that too, outside of just the shoe repair. So they do like saddles, and they'll bring in like Louis Vuitton bags and all this kind of stuff that, naturally you'll get weird rips in it over time. And then he figures out a way to sew it together and make it look nice. And them like old school sewing machines, like all mechanical. He's a third or fourth generation shoe repairman. Basically, long story short, our ancestors come from Germany after World War II. Mormon missionaries like came over and like found everyone who's like the man of the household was dead or whatever, and then brought them back to America. And the missionary that our ancestors got was a shoe repairman. So he was, or our grandpa at the time was like 8 when they got brought over. And so yeah, that Mormon missionary just taught him shoe repair and went from there. So then he started doing shoe repair from a young age all the way up, and then yeah.
Will it continue past him, or?
So they were really against teaching us, and really still kind of are a little bit, but because they wanted us to go find other things to do. They wanted us to have more of a choice, I guess, because they were brought up doing shoe repair so much that once they kind of, by the time he was 18, he already had his own shoe repair business, and it kind of just naturally led that way. And then I think that's why when he found paintball, he fell in love with it and then has attached himself to that. So like the shoe repair has been like the business, but paintball is his passion. He wanted us to kind of find our own thing in life and not have something that was so, well, I'm just going to do this and not go try to find our own thing, if that makes sense. But
So they truly started in-house, and once they got big enough, like all brands, you had to find production that could
right, because I can just keep having him sew together knee pads when he's running a full business.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Those red bottom Louis.
Exactly. Yeah.
Forever.
The shoe repair is more lucrative than sewing knee pads together. So yeah, we had to figure out something else after a while.
Even the saddle repair business.
Right.
So I mean, I guess if you have a very important family headband or leather item that you might truly want to pay a high dollar to have repaired, contact Paintball Fit. They might facilitate that for you.
We even repair people's packs. Like when their Velcro comes up, we don't really advertise it, but like the Velcro goes bad, but they don't want to get a new pack, or it's like an older pack. So we'll just put new Velcro on it and keep it going for them.
Yeah, so I guess with the sound of that, we'll go ahead and wrap this up so we don't take it forever. You want to tell people about maybe Lone Wolf joining the sponsorship for XTPL?
Yeah, we're super excited to be partnered up with Lone Wolf. They've been great guys to us ever since we met them, and just they're helping us out with some stuff. We got a field coming, and it's gonna be really cool. And we carry some products here, but they carry everything there. So anything you need paintball related, like they got it. Go to the website, and customer service is amazing, and like I said, everything you need, and well, even stuff you don't need but is really cool, they got it.
Then they got a pizza.
What is a pizzo?
You don't know what a pizzo is?
No, what's a pizzo?
Pizzo's Pizzas.
Pizzo's Pizzas. Is it boom treated?
What? I don't know what you're saying at
You know
all.
what a pizzo is?
No.
Is this going to Fitz, please?
Yeah, Fitz.
Fitz?
Fitz. They don't know what pizzo is. We're gonna have to fix that in this reel.
Yeah, just slap it in there.
Like Lone Wolf has pizza? I don't understand what is going on at all. Pizzo?
Pizzo.
So you go to lonewolf.com, you can get a pizzo.
No, he's a person. He's like.
You're telling me we can buy a person that like makes pizza?
I mean,
we're like a.
How much is pizzo?
I don't know. You know, if you contact Joe and Tony, I bet you'll get a really good deal on pizza.
Okay.
If you're willing to bring it up.